Her phone lights up face down on the counter, like it knows I am watching. The way it flashes feels deliberate, almost like it's calling me out. I am rinsing my coffee mug, hands submerged in water, when the screen flashes a calendar alert. Facilitator debrief, healing retreat. Bring donor packet, foreign words in my kitchen like secrets creeping in. Thumb flicks the banner before I even realize it. No thought, just reaction. The banner expands slightly, revealing a shared note preview lurking like it's been waiting. Make sure he thinks he chose therapy. Keep him calm until after the annual review. The words claw at my stomach. They don't belong in my life. That annual review is mine. It's personal. It's a trap. No shouting, no shaking hands. I set the phone down face down, same way it started. I rinse that coffee mug until the water runs clear, wiping the coffee ring off the counter like it's the only problem left. A minute later she enters, cheerful like nothing's wrong, kisses my cheek, calls me steady, her safe place. But her words hit differently now, like she's labeling me, fitting me into a box that traps. That night she tells Mara I agreed to therapy. My body freezes. I never agreed. Mara's the loudest voice in our circle. The narrative is slipping through my hands, drowning truth in noise. At that point, my body betrays me. Food turns to dust. Jaws clench constantly. I wake up at 3:12 a.m., heart racing, searching a phone that isn't mine. Silence screams louder than any noise. At dinner with friends, she laughs, calling me a lovable malfunction. I smile, shrinking inside to the version they expect. I watch her eyes. They never smiled. It's a show. But I am losing the script. We argue over little things, a timing mistake. Groceries. Her voice is gentle but accusatory. She says I escalate. As if diagnosing a disease, everyone stiffens. I don't raise my voice, but the heat gives me away. She tells friends I forgot an anniversary gift. I remember it well, but she returned it without telling me. She uses absence like a weapon, turning truth into a prop to control the narrative. A friend tests the waters, mentioning tensions. Her sister texts me, pleading not to make her feel unsafe. Dangerous words, carefully chosen, seeping into our lives, shaping perception like poison. Sets boundaries with rehearsed phrases. My tone is aggressive. She won't do my emotional labor. Each phrase is smooth, unarguable. I realize I am no longer husband. I am a character in her story. She tells me she booked couples therapy, smiles while mentioning she has explained my triggers. It's a package deal, help wrapped in control. Another link in the chain binding me tighter. Stop fighting openly. Instead, I become harmless, distracted, agreeable. I nod, apologize for nothing, soften my voice. It tastes like swallowing nails, but it calms her storm, at least for now. Privately, I start a journal on an old device, dates, exact words, who was there, phone positions. I write until my hands stop shaking, and then I write again. It's my shield, my evidence, my silent rebellion. I hide passports, tax records, work contracts in places nobody would think to look. Not all at once, just little pieces, whispered secrets if this turns into a war. Paranoia becomes necessity. Lunch, I meet a lawyer. I call it estate planning if anyone asks, sitting alone in my car. I listen as he talks about control, narrative, evidence. His words bite harder than I expected. Back home, she suddenly cares, mentions my career stress, offers to handle finances, healing, she calls it, like I am a project. A broken thing she is tending to with care, masked in control. Later, I try our shared finance app, but I am locked out. No notice, no email, just an error message in the silence. She didn't reorganize anything. She shut me out, cutting control with a cold swipe. Public, she is warm, holding my hand, smiling like a success story. But behind closed doors, her face turns cold and flat. Commands replace care. I am a misbehaving employee, not a partner anymore. The first therapy session is a stage set by her. Boundaries, patterns, regulation. She speaks fluently, rehearses control. I try to find my voice, but I sound like smoke, shaping nothing, fading fast. Therapist asks if I have anger issues. A question planted, nurtured. Her groundwork, friends, family, texts all align to make the room tilt before we walk in. The trap tightens around me. I stop defending, tone dull and boring, no fights, no protests, just bland silence. She watches my hands, waiting for signs I am unsafe. I become the quiet man she expects, invisible and compliant. Log every conversation by email, dates, words, witnesses, clear, simple facts with no emotion. Bills requested to regain control over money. Each, sure, she says, hides a secret agenda. Suspicious subscriptions, round donations. Gift card purchases small enough for a glance, big enough to form a pattern. It doesn't feel like spending. It feels like laundering our life through shadows. In front of friends, She calls me a rehab project, progress slow. Her smile masks cruelty. I laugh too, swallowing metal taste, hiding the wounds beneath fake cheer. The performance wears me thin. After therapy, she leans close, whispers a threat ruin her reputation. And I lose the real story forever. No screams, just cold calculation chilling the space between us. Talks about options if she feels unsafe, terms like documentation, workplace ethics. Pattern of intimidation, clean words, deadly purpose. Language built to survive beyond us, to control the world outside. At work, an HR rep pulls me aside, speaks softly about stress and support with no accusations. A fingerprint on my soul, a cloud I can grasp, paranoia or purpose. The line is blurred. Yes, sweet at home, not normal, sweet switch flipped. Touching my arm, talking about chaos I cause. Comforting a dangerous animal. She testing a lever and the move shifts something inside me. Imagine shouting, imagine her phone recording. Calm voice explaining my escalations, hands shake. Fear pins me silent. The planned confrontation dies in my head, swallowed by the fear of her narrative. She offers a way out, a simple message admitting I scare her sometimes. A written confession, the trap dug deeper. The lines between love and control blurring into chill reality. Stop chasing imagined affairs. The real power isn't in betrayal, but in control. The affair is decoration. The system is the foundation she built to trap me inside her story. I call the bank, bypass her app, and get official statements. Boring, yes. Embarrassing, maybe. But it's my lifeline, turning back the clock to find truth deep in numbers. Small, steady transfers round donations. Expenses connected to one name, the program director, socially recognized, revered. But here, his name feels like a fingerprint on a crime. She used our shared funds for personal travel disguised as charity costs, flights, hotels masked as facilitator work. She paints herself trapped, while hiding her own games behind our money. She spread a story that I am unstable. Contradictions are manipulation. Evidence twisted into patterns. Therapy wasn't to fix us, it was third-party validation to make me unsafe and replaceable. As I sift through my evidence, my phone buzzes. A confidential message warns me to check the donor packet. A silent alarm from someone too scared to speak openly, but brave enough to share truth. Don't fight on her turf anymore. No public battles, no social posts. Instead, I build my case in silence, the one place she can charm or manipulate paper. Cold and undeniable. My lawyer drafts separation plans, clean, boring, and lethal. I compile timelines with exact quotes, therapy dates, bank statements. The story is told with numbers, not emotions, untouchable and true. Formal notices fly misappropriation claims. Boundary setting, calls for financial accounting. No names, no drama, just cold facts pointing at the heart of deception. Demanding truth without bias. She tries to trigger old fears, therapy jargon, soft voices, unsafe labels. But the new battlefield is different. Paperwork tracks every move, numbers cut deeper than words, and proof outshines lies. She shows up one night, eyes bright with panic, voice soft asking why. For once, the script falters, control slips. The fortress she built trembles beneath pressure she never expected. Divide living spaces cleanly. Lines drawn like wires untangling. Written rules replace chaos. No surprises, no late nights. Boundaries cold on paper, but they breathe life back into me. Friends grow quiet not because they see me as the hero, but because risk has changed. Old conversations freeze, silence becomes verdict. The little ecosystem of certainty collapses into nothingness. She claims I punish her by not supporting her healing. A conclusion she expects everyone to accept. If I push back, I prove her point. The trap tightens, but I stay quiet, steady, unshakable. Don't argue feelings, just state facts calmly. My words aren't weapons. There's nothing for her to clip or show to others. Silence becomes my shield. Calm becomes my fortress in the storm. In quiet moments, I see how I enabled this void, avoiding conflict, mistaking steadiness for safety. I left space so empty she could fill it with stories that served only her. It's not rage, but sharp clarity with sting, the sorrow of losing the woman I thought I knew. Searching in vain for a past that vanished. Reaching for a light switch in an unfamiliar dark room. Mourn a version of her that was a belief, not truth. The woman I chased was a ghost shaped by hope, a fragile illusion shattered by cold reality and harsh betrayal. Underneath grief, a strange relief blooms, like stepping out from deafening noise into quiet, like recalling what peace sounds like and realizing my ears still work and I can finally breathe. Keep nothing back. The folder stays sealed, safe. I leave with my dignity, not triumphant, just quietly free, no anger, just astonishment. She didn't just cheat. She tried to rewrite me. The most shocking part, how she tried to erase who I am. Reshape me through lies, control, and fear, not just betrayal, but an attempt to rewrite my whole story on her terms. This isn't fiction. It has a haunting truth many don't see. A hidden battle in the quiet spaces between control, love, and survival. And it begs the question, how well do we truly know the ones beside us? Could the chains of control ever be mistaken for love? Where does care end and manipulation begin? It is a thin, trembling line that can break a person's world in silence. Sometimes silence shouts louder than words, secrets hidden in quiet moments. In the way a phone angles or a glance lingers, the unspoken becomes the loudest truth in the room. Learn to perform sanity-steady breaths, neutral words, no outbursts. The act of blending in to avoid the traps laid by the one I loved, in a twisted dance of survival. Every memory questioned, every word doubted, trust twisted like a knot tightening around my throat. The need to document, prove, survive because my truth was denied, drowned in suspicion. She wore care like a mask, helping with finances, offering support, all games to tighten control slowly, healing retreat or hostage chain. The difference blurred in a cruel masquerade. The more I learn, the closer I come to escape. Knowledge is power, and in the middle of betrayal, clarity is the key that can break chains, even when hope feels fragile. In shadowed stories and whispered lies, survival isn't loud, it has quiet resilience, writing the truth in secret notes, reclaiming pieces stolen in the darkness of control. Breaking silence is dangerous, friends fade, allies quiet, arenas shift. But silence also hides strength, waiting for the moment to shatter the quiet with undeniable truth. Control hides in stories, crafted narratives, rehearsed lines, selective truths. When someone shapes your identity for others, your voice becomes a whisper drowned by their loud scripts. Therapy used as a weapon, healing twisted to bind rather than free. Validation sought in controlled rooms, where truth is a pawn and self is pushed out of the game. Isolation isn't sudden. It has crafted friends turned cold, group chats silent. The ecosystem of support collapses under pressure, leaving only the cold echo of absence and doubt. Amidst control and silence, reclaiming voice is a quiet fight, speaking in facts, not anger, building evidence bricks one by one. A fortress of truth emerging from shadows. Her work becomes my shield, and sword, a pile of quiet proofs that can be dismissed. A new language where control can be challenged, and the truth finally heard. Freedom isn't loud declarations. It has quiet accumulation of facts, proof, and boundaries. A slow unraveling of control until the cage opens and the breath of real life rushes in. In the end, we all tell stories of love, control, survival. Which story will you choose to believe? Whose voice will you echo? Sometimes, the quietest truth cuts deepest. Could you spot the hidden chains, the quiet battles in the smiles, the whispered threats behind warm words? Sometimes the signs are invisible until it is too late to rewind. Silence can be a sanctuary or a prison. For some, it is the price of survival. For others, the betrayal of self. How much silence is too much? At what point does quiet become a cake? If the one who controls you is the one you love most, when love and possession entwine, the lines blur. Can love demand trust without freedom? Or is it just control in disguise? Reclaiming yourself takes courage, breaking patterns, rewriting narratives, finding your voice amidst noise. It is a journey fraught with fear, but paved with the promise of freedom. You find yourself lost in someone else's narrative. Remember, your story matters. Your truth deserves to be told, heard, and honored. You are more than their control or their lies. Now that you've seen this hidden struggle, what will you do? Speak up. Listen closely, protect yourself and others. Sometimes the hardest step is the one that moves us toward light. Her phone flashes face down, pulling me into secrets I wasn't meant to uncover. That simple light in the dark hides a story I am only beginning to see. The notification about the healing retreat sticks out. Alien in our home. I can shake the feeling it is the opening line in a story where I am the unsuspecting lead. My thumb touches the message, not by choice, but by habit. It slides open, revealing a note that isn't meant for my eyes. Panic and disbelief flood in, but I stay still. Note says to keep me calm until after the annual review, a phrase she used herself. The weight of those words sinks deep. I realize the truth is darker than I imagined. No outbursts, no tears. I only keep rinsing the coffee mug like a calm ocean, pretending the storm outside won't spill inside me and drown the fragile piece I have left. She walks in bright and cheerful, kisses my cheek, calls me steady, a label that feels more like a leash. Her words tie me down, and the weight presses harder than ever before. She tells Mara I agreed to therapy, but I didn't tea. My silence becomes my prison as the story of my consent spins out without me, casting shadows over every step I take. My body reacts before my brain can catch up. Nausea, clenched jaw, restless mornings watching the clock tick to 3:12 a.m., waiting for alarms that never come. Dinner, she mocks me gently, turning my silence into a joke. I smile, shrinking inside, watching her eyes betray none of the warmth she pretends to give. Minor disagreement becomes proof of my escalation. Their postures shift like mine is a bomb about to explode. I am calm, but the heat of accusation burns me from within. She tells others I forgot an anniversary gift, a lie wrapped in control. The truth hits me cold later. She returned it without telling me, twisting memories to her favor. Whispers from friends and family paint me as intense and unsafe. The carefully planted words grow roots, shaping how others see me, building a cage I can escape. Voice floats on rehearsed words, a boundary here, a gentle accusation there. It's a script designed to trap, leaving me no room to argue without landing as villain. Label replaces love. I am not her husband. I am a type, a character in a narrative. She controls a story spun to hide the cracks beneath the surface of our life. I become harmless, nodding, agreeing, apologizing for things unspoken. The act tastes like swallowing nails but earns calm. Her eyes soften. The storm momentarily stills. I keep a secret journal, dates, words, witnessed moments. My hands shake at first, but I keep writing. It's my weapon, my memory, my proof in a world rewriting our story. I hide documents in plain sight, a passport at work, contracts with friends like breadcrumbs in a forest, scattered so no single piece screams missing. But every piece counts. A lawyer's words hit hard evidence, narrative, control. He maps the battlefield, showing me that the story told first often wins. Now I know what I am up against. She offers to manage finances, citing my stress and need to heal. Healing. Again, a word that sounds caring but feels like a cage closing, tightening with every step she takes. Locks me out of our finances, revoking access silently. The screen reads error, no explanations. Just a digital barrier between me and the life we built together. In public, her touch is warm and inviting, a show of unity. Behind closed doors, her words are commands. I am no longer partner but subordinate, navigating a shifting power play. She leads therapy perfectly rehearsed, framed, precise. She paints me unsafe without saying it, letting suspicion settle like a cloud, shaping the room before I can speak. Therapist asks if I have anger issues, not innocent, but planted. A carefully buried seed nurtured by whispers and texts, engineered to tilt the scales against me. I stop defending, becoming bland, boring, the perfect target. No fiery rebuttals, just silence that's rich enough to frustrate her attempts to paint me unstable or aggressive. Every heated moment becomes a dated email to myself, just facts, no emotion. A growing file of truth safe from manipulation, proof that outlasts spoken lies or fleeting memories. Familiar subscriptions, unexpected donations, and coded expenses reveal a financial maze. The more I dig, the clearer it becomes. Our money is a river rerouted without my consent. Expenses disguised as charity, travel masked as work. The wild web masks deception as goodwill. I watch as public stories paint her trapped, while truth floats in shadowed ledgers. Each charge, each trip becomes a brushstroke, painting a picture of control and manipulation. I am not just a victim, I am a detective uncovering the story she tried to bury deep. A quiet message from her circle warns me, check the donor packet. Fear and relief collide as a hidden ally steps forward, lighting a path through the dark deception. I refuse public battles. I want to play by her rules, online or in friends' circles. The arena she built won't trap me. Instead, I retreat to the world of cold facts and quiet paper trails. Lawyer drafts a plan as emotionless as a legal brief. I build timelines, collect words, and evidence, a fortress built of quiet truths standing against a storm of lies. The donor packet arrives glossy, confident, highlighting her as a leader and her partnership with the program director. A name repeated like a hallmark. The truth unravels in black and white. Inside, travel costs masked as outreach line up perfectly with financial records, using spousal funds for personal trips while painting me as controlling it. A story rewritten in numbers. A section titled Partner Support reads like a manual for managing me. Calm him, reframe resistance. The language feels like a blueprint for control, written in quiet menace. Person who warned me isn't a hero. just scared someone seeing their own shadow in this tangled web and wanting out before it's too late. That fear becomes my unexpected lifeline. I send a careful email asking if marital funds were used for personal travel tied to the program director. The reply a calm confirmation that shatters illusions and lays bare the truth. Reply floats like a hammer travel reimbursed through program funds including spousal money. It tries to save face but sinks everything. The script cracks under the weight of facts. No dramatic reveals. Just procedural waves. The lawyer sends formal notices, demands answer bullets. The system clicks in motion. The narrative she built begins to crumble quietly yet irrevocably. She leans on old weapons therapy buzzwords. Unsafe labels, but now the battlefield is proof and paper. Numbers don't lie. And suddenly the rules tilt against her carefully crafted lies. She arrives home frantic, voice softening, questioning why I am pushing back, control wavers, fear peeks through cracks in her facade. For once, she is not in command. We separate living spaces, schedules, boundaries all laid out in cold, clear writing. The stage falls silent. The tangled wires of our past life start to unwind, piece by painful piece. No surprises, no late-night talks, just rules in writing, cold on paper but like fresh air to me. Boundaries that keep me breathing and slowly relearning how to live for myself. Friends retreat into silence, not out of certainty but fear. The risk changes, conversations stall, and the once vibrant chatter slows to a guarded hush. The ecosystem crumbles quietly. She says I punish her for healing, expecting agreement. The final swing of her therapy sword swings slow but sharp. I don't engage, I just respond with steady facts, a calm shield. I don't debate morality. I state reality, actions before feelings. My words are calm, boring to her rage. There is no fury for her to clip or twist, just truth standing firm in silence. My own choice to avoid conflict felt like safety, but was a vacuum she filled with her story. Steadiness was mistaken for security. I let the empty space grow until it swallowed us whole. Pain of betrayal isn't just rage. It is clear, cutting clarity, like locking your own door from the inside you retrapped. But you know exactly how it happened. I grieve not the person she is now, but the one I carried in my heart, the ghost of who I thought I knew, now lost in the shadows of deception and silence. Under grief, a gentle relief emerges like stepping out of deafening noise into quiet. My ears adjust. I listen differently now, free from the lies that once filled the air. Walk away with nothing lost but my chains, the folder sealed, dignity intact. No triumph, just quiet freedom, the last thought in my mind. She didn't just betray me, she tried to rewrite me. Love twisted into control is the cruelest disguise. What looks like care can be chains. And breaking free means seeing who you loved at last and who they really were all along. Panic, fear, and silence break through the masks we wear. Control falters when confronted by truth, and the strongest facades begin to crumble from within. No one can rewrite your story without consent. When control tightens, it is time to write your own ending raw, unfiltered, and true. Beyond the pages they tried to script. Starting over takes strength, clear boundaries, cold facts, and brave decisions. It is the path from silence to voice, from captivity to freedom, from rewriting to truth. Voices shout. The quiet voice struggles to be heard. Trust it. Listen to the whispers of your soul and give them space to grow loud enough to break chains and heal wounds. True freedom isn't found outside, it begins within. When you reclaim your story, your voice, your power, the cage cracks open and you breathe again for the first time in long. How well do you really know the one beside you? Behind smiles and routines, hidden wars may rage. The quiet ones often carry the deepest storms inside. Truth isn't always loud, it hides in silences, in unread texts, in cold looks. The hardest battles are fought in the quiet, where others see nothing but calm waters. Recognize the signs, the rehearsed phrases, the masked threats, the rehearsed smile. Sometimes the script is written long before the first act begins, and escape needs sharp eyes. Until let others trap you in stories they control, your voice, your truth, is yours alone. Break free from the narrative set for you and write your own unfiltered story. Silence can be strength, a place to gather courage, build evidence, and plan escape. It is in quiet moments where resilience grows and futures are formed in shadow. Even the darkest night ends with light. Keep faith that dawn will come. When truth shines bright, shadows can hide forever, and freedom is waiting just beyond the night. Now, after seeing this story unfold, what is your own? How will you protect your truth, your freedom, Sometimes, the hardest choice is the first step toward your own liberation. Your silence can shout louder than words. It carries resistance, strength, and the power to change the story. What will your silence say when it finally speaks? Unseen chains bind many fear, control, silence. Breaking free means seeing the locks, knowing their shape, and finding the courage to undo them, one link at a time. You are the author of your story. No one else should write the chapters of your life. Take back the pen and create the narrative where you are free, whole, and seen truly. Healing isn't a cage or a script, it's a journey of freedom and truth. Don't let anyone disguise control as healing. True healing lets you reclaim yourself fully and freely. Truth exists beyond silence and fear, waiting for the moment you choose to embrace it. When you dare to hear it, your life begins anew, unchained, honest, and unafraid. Faced with control disguised as love and silence masquerading as peace, what will you choose? To stay silent or to speak your truth? Each path changes everything. Now it's your turn. Have you witnessed a story like this? How do you protect your truth and freedom? Share your story below. Your voice might just help someone else break free.